The Dr. Nick and Hot Aussie Chick Show is brought to you by the LasVegasAdvisor.com, CasinoMeister.com, and ThePog.com. Three great sites for all your casino gaming information needs.
If you're receiving this transmission, then this operation is a success. Dr. Nick and the Hot Aussie Chick are in the house and ready to dissect blackjack, poker, and everything in between.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Dr. Nick. How's it shaking in Las Vegas?
Well, it is shaking quite a lot, as a matter of fact, due to two relatively strong earthquakes centered in California, Ridgecrest, about 125, 150 miles away from Las Vegas.
Crazy! The whole world knows about this, especially the poker world and the gaming world. Yes. And I am terrified now to go in high-rise buildings. Do tell them why. Do tell them why. You would have seen the video, I'm sure. Mr. Gary Benson's video. I remember messaging you saying, go watch Mr. Gary Benson, Australian Poker Players video. Oh, Lord. So many stories up. The whole building shaking. No.
Yes. Gary lives in a high-rise here in Las Vegas. He stays in the condo there. And on his Facebook, he put in just the tail end of the earthquake. I think it lasted for about 20 seconds, and he probably only put up about 5 or 6 seconds of it.
Oh, that was the tail end?
Yeah, the chandeliers were shaking pretty violently, and even
The
more so.
whole building was shaking.
Yes, but I really wouldn't worry too much about it, though, because a lot of these buildings on the West Coast are retrofitted to be earthquake-proof, so there's a pretty good shot you're going to survive.
But we should 100% worry if we are in a third world country, right?
I wouldn't go on a second flight of stairs in a third world country with the building codes that they have there.
Okay, all right then. I wonder what it's like in Australia.
I don't know. Oh, let me tell you this. There were 2 earthquakes.
In Australia?
No, in Las Vegas, and they're about a day apart. The first one was a 6.8, I believe. I didn't really feel that one too much, but the 7.1 I did feel, as did everybody else in the poker World Series. And so I'm sitting there in my bed.
People wrote that it was evacuated. Is that true? Sorry, I'll leave.
I'm not entirely sure. From the videos that I saw, it just seems that they stopped play for a few minutes.
Right.
And then resumed. So it would make sense if they evacuated the World Series of Poker, they would have had to evacuate the hotel and casino. And from the videos that I heard, I did not see the alarms or hear the alarms go off. So I'm pretty sure that they didn't. They just probably suspended play for a little while, but then restarted right away. Now, speaking of which, when it actually happened, I was in my bed watching some television, and then my bed started shaking. And this is a new feeling. I've never felt this before. And I looked over to my desk, and my desk started shaking. And actually, honest to God truth, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, those ghosts follow me home from the Haunted Museum.
Yes, I actually thought it was ghosts in an earthquake once, not very high up in the Flamingo. But anyway, speaking of ghosts in the Haunted Museum, I have a story that everyone has to hear. We did speak about that last show, correct? And since I have had an experience, and it has been terrible, and I've had a terrifying week with not much sleep, let me tell you, I am not muttering one word of lie. So this is for all of the people that don't believe in luck and all of the people that are skeptical out there. So, Dr. Nick, you escorted me to the Haunted Museum, did you not?
I did.
Okay, so we had all of this, all spoken about last show. However, I will just elaborate a little over this, thing that happened to me this week. So, when I got to a certain room, it's got the Dracula's scrying mirror in it. There was a painting on the wall, and I freaked the hell out, right? I just had all these childhood thoughts coming back. Like, oh my God, that painting, like in my house when I was a child, blah, blah, blah. Was I not saying all of that? And the woman replied, what? What did she say?
She said the reason that painting is in here because it had a tendency to every house that it was in burnt down.
Right, and I
And
replied that my house
my
had
house
burned down.
burned down when I was a child.
Right, okay, so that is the last time I had seen that painting. I
And
was a
so much
child.
so, they actually collected all those paintings and burned them.
Right, exactly right. Because what was happening in the UK, where allegedly, I don't know, 50,000 I think were burned, because I watched the Deadly Possessions video on the Crying Boy painting. Everyone go look up this painting, go watch this video. So they're all burned in a big bonfire. These firemen were going into houses, and houses are gutted, and here's the painting. It's like, wow, how did you survive? They're like, was it painted in, pardon me, fireproof paint or what happened? Anyhow, I dragged my family out of a building when I was 12 years of age, and that painting was in it. My legs went all jelly. I freaked the hell out. Last show, I've got fire people coming today to check my smoke alarms because last show, beep, beep, beep. I'm just like all paranoid now. You know, ever since that thing, and I've been all terrified of ghosts. Anywho, I'm sitting here just a couple of days ago. You guys are not going to believe this. You're just not
What
going to
happened?
believe this. Well, my mother turned up and she had a whole bunch of stuff in boxes for me that she'd gotten out of storage. There's a storage of her and my aunts, right? And she pulls off the top of it the damn painting.
Ooh.
No, not ooh.
Is,
Oh,
so is it
oh
hanging in?
no.
Is it hanging in your bedroom now?
No, it is not hanging in my bedroom. That thing can stay the F away. She like, I'm saying burn that thing. She's like, no, I like this painting. I'm like, Mum, it burns houses down. She's saying, don't be so ridiculous. I showed her YouTube clips. I showed her articles. She was clutching that thing. I swear my mother's become possessed. She was clutching it saying, no, I like it. And she will not let it go.
Well,
Anyhow,
could you let it anywhere near you?
no, and I kept telling her not to touch me. I don't want that freaky thing anyway. Anyway, I've got guys coming to check the fire alarms. Everyone's going to be pleased to know on a radio note and gaming note that they will not be hearing my fire alarm in the background any longer after today.
So you're getting your smoke alarms tested and
I
replaced.
am. After that, absolutely. Speaking of which, back to earthquakes, gaming, and whatever else. There was a fire as well as an earthquake. I believe that it was at the Jackpot Casino. Is that it?
I haven't heard anything about that. Jackpots, I know, is a bar and grill.
Oh, well, they've called it a casino. So
Okay.
there's so many casinos that I just don't know.
Right.
For Jack's Casino and
Oh,
Hotel,
okay, that makes sense.
it took 3 hours for them to put the fire out.
In
So
Las
that's like,
Vegas?
oh, I assume so.
We'll have to look that up and see what's going on.
I assume it's burned. It says Jackpot Nevada.
Okay, well, we'll have to look into that. But
Of course, I was looking for fires in my local area, when that happened, because of that damn painting, and
right.
up comes that.
So speaking of, we are so the World Series was not evacuated. There was a little shaking going on, and congratulations to all the players who were doing well. Some of which we know that had a pretty good run. So far, one of the biggest surprises is Mr. Alan Kessler, who at least min cashed. I know that, and he's just had a great
Alan
run.
always min cashes.
Yes, yes, but in the main event, that is a real accomplishment.
So there's been some amazing WSOP numbers, to say the least.
Yes.
There has been a little increase in women, not much of an increase of women. So the world, goodness me, tongue tied today. The Women's Poker Association, good job. There was as we mentioned last week, a women's poker warm up event to which there was a bit of a scuffle at the end of.
Yeah, I told people if you could guarantee a fight at the end of every women's event, I guarantee you it would be one of the highest poker shows of all time on TV.
Absolutely, without a doubt. There has been an increase in women. Other than, I think it was the 2006 World Series of Poker, this has had the most entries, so that's fabulous. They went over 8,500.
Yes.
Um,
What was your bet? What was your over under?
Oh, I was way off. Like
Okay.
way off. I said 7,241 or something. I was
Alright.
pretty precise with my bet. I was way off. I really did think
And
that
those are
everyone.
just the numbers. Those are just the numbers for the main event, so everybody's clear.
Right, yeah. I thought everyone was playing event, the first lot of events where there's no rake for $500. There were just so many entrants that I thought they've all gone home now. So that's going to reduce numbers. That's what I thought. Wrong was I.
Right.
They have done very well. So the World Series of Poker, as we talk, is still running. There's been a lot of notables knocked out. I know that Australia's own Joe Hasham is gone, and Shane Warne, our cricketer, who was also a poker player, used to be an 888 player, in fact, among other places, gone.
I heard that Phil Ivey went out in under an hour.
Wow.
Yes, and
Wow.
I think
Grano
Gary.
was knocked out.
Yeah, Negreanu went out rather quickly too. He played a lot this summer, so yeah.
He did.
And
What
yeah,
about the Brunsons? I'm not sure.
I don't
There's
think Doyle
so many
played this year.
players. Trying to keep track of 8,000 players is just absolutely just so difficult. The last year's winner, Sin, was knocked out.
Yes, he was. He was knocked out yesterday. I actually saw him walk out of the building. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
he did well. Yes.
Who else? I don't know. Many. All gone. All
Gus
gone.
Hansen.
So,
Gus Hansen was at the feature table the other day, and he's put together a good run so far. He was down to a short stack and then made quite a comeback. So he's making a
well,
run.
I watched ESPN, and on there they said that they are pretty sure that he had lost every chip and won every chip on the table. So it's quite possible he could be knocked out or he could be in. Who knows? Who knows with that man? Anyway,
anybody can do it. It's him. Nobody really has any idea. Everybody thinks that he doesn't have it, but sometimes he does.
actually, they did do an interview and they were talking about something that I'd spoken to Blair Rodman, a well-known blackjack and poker player, about, which is young'uns versus old'uns. I don't know, older players. And Hansen said exactly what Blair Rodman had said. They are just coming up with so many new things now. You young guys, go for it. Absolutely new ways of analyzing bets and hands, and it's becoming
Is that
very
more of a
difficult.
software point of view, or would that be more of a just a perception at the table, or some combination of the two?
Well, not software, because this is playing live. So,
Right.
New ways of thinking, basically.
Okay.
So they take think back to the very bases of maths and poker and analysis and how it has developed. And a lot of people say that Sklensky, as an example, gave us the foundations.
Right.
Since then, of course, people have built on that and built on that, and look, nothing's changing. It just builds
Right.
and builds and builds and builds. Anywho, by this time, by next show, there'll be a winner.
There will be a winner. We will have to wait patiently for that.
Who are you betting?
What would you think? What do you think would happen if Mr. Alan Kessler won it?
Oh, wow. That would be absolutely fantastic, to be honest. But I think that place would have more people in it watching than ever before.
Yes.
He made the final table.
Well, you know what, though? I have a story to tell about Alan Kessler, and you probably haven't seen it or heard about it yet. But I found it this morning. I was watching Facebook this morning, and it was the end of day 3 where Alan had something like 600, whatever. He had over 500,000 in chips, and it was a dinner break.
Mm-hmm.
Someone put up a video of Alan. This is after he's pretty much guaranteed to cash that event. So during the dinner break, him and a gentleman that he knows went to Wendy's, and they're at Wendy's, and he's yelling at the guy, "No, no, no! You got to get this value meal." He's lecturing him on the importance of value in a value meal at one of the fast food places here in Las Vegas. And after that, when they're splitting the bill, he yells at the guy because the guy walked away, and he's like, "Hey, wait, you owe me $1.50 for the bill." So
Well, that is exactly how the rich stay rich and the poor get poorer.
It was
That is
hysterical.
exactly how.
And
I
another
had dinner
thing,
with Alan in Melbourne. Did you know
yeah,
that?
yeah, I heard about that. And what
Guess
was that
what?
adventure story about Alan's adventures in Melbourne, where you thought everybody was trying to kill him?
Well, it's dark in Melbourne. It's not lit up like Las Vegas is. So
Right.
anyhow, Mr. Alan Kessler, I enjoyed having dinner with Alan, but I don't know. I'd choose a different restaurant next time.
Yes.
We ate
And
we ate we ate Italian. I'd definitely choose a different one. I didn't like that one. Anywho,
well,
back.
there's another interesting story about Alan Kessler. Someone put up
Oh,
Alan.
we could talk about interesting Alan stories
Yes, but this is
all
actually
day.
pretty hysterical. Um, someone put up a photo. He's like, "Oh, look who just came to my table," and it's a picture of Alan Kessler. And they decided to put all the variety of filters that they have on their Snapchat chat on there. So
Really?
Alan had a full head of hair and a beard in one, and a mustache in another. It was
Why
quite
would
amusing.
they tease him like that?
I don't know. Alan is a very interesting character.
I
Uh,
like Alan.
yes.
He's cool.
He is one that everybody knows. That's for sure. Yes.
Yes,
And speaking of which,
absolutely.
that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing going on at the World Series of Poker. There were some
Keep her.
very not so good things happened. A couple people got kicked out.
Oh, yes. I think there were some naked people and some stuff like that happening. Is
Well,
that what you mean?
I saw the video. A guy went all in blind with King. No, with I'm sorry, with
For the
Queen
main event?
Four. Yeah, to the main event, King Four, King Three, something like that. And he was, for whatever reason, the guy was obviously been drinking. I think they interviewed one of the guys that was next to him, and this gentleman owned a bar for 17 years, and he said this guy definitely had alcohol on him, and he decided for whatever reason
Alcohol.
take off his shoes and throw them at the dealer and pull down his pants for
Oh,
some reason.
pull down his pants. What the hell? Are
Well,
you serious?
poker immortality, I suppose.
He flopped his wee wee on the table?
Uh, I
Oh,
have
this
no idea. I didn't watch too closely of it. I don't like to give those kind of people that kind of attention. And then later on, he went to another casino and took off his pants and jumped up on the craps table for some odd reason. And then
what's
finally
his
got,
man's obsession with not wearing pants? Does anyone know him?
I have no idea. But they finally arrested him there. And that's the one. And then there was the other incident that occurred. A guy, also a Russian player, he was drinking apparently quite a bit.
Oh yeah, blame the drinkers.
He won a small pot, and there was no one. There was an empty seat next to him, and when he went to scoop in all the chips, he grabbed the stack of chips that was on an empty seat next to him and scooped them in with his chips, and he was automatically disqualified. Although his buy-in remained.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's not very nice. Actually, that is like the lowest of low acts, stealing another player's chips. I don't like that.
Well, and
Speaking
another
of,
thing, they escorted him out of the hotel and banned him from the Caesars properties, and then he came back in to Caesar's properties
after
right
listening
away.
to our show and finding
Uh,
out that El Dorado had bought them out.
well, for
Well,
whatever reason, and then they arrested him, and he had to spend the night in jail.
well, people at casinos take security very seriously, as they should. There
Yeah.
have been people robbed at the World Series of Poker outside in the car park.
Yes.
Um, the World Series of Poker has called for reinforced. Oh, well, sorry, they are onto it after people have called for reinforced security.
Right. Now,
Because
yesterday,
you know,
from my, I was there yesterday cheering on one of our friends playing, and they actually had a special response team there in place, and these are rather large gentlemen with fully armed and dogs,
mhm,
and so yes,
so they've done it.
they have upgraded security quite a bit. But to me, that doesn't make any sense because all the security is within the poker rooms,
Oh,
but people
well,
are
you could
getting
get
robbed
walked
outside.
out.
Yes.
Yes. There was Joey Ingram that said that they needed better security at the World Series of Poker. This is quoting him. World Series of Poker parking lot ASAP. I'm surprised this type of thing hasn't happened more often with how big an open parking lot is and how little security exists outside. This type of thing is awful to allow this to happen. Please fix this ASAP. So that's after some robberies.
Well, rumor has it, though, this might very well be the last year that the World Series of Poker is actually held at the Rio.
Hmm?
Yes, they are talking about at least this year or maybe next year or the year after that for sure. They will likely be moving the World Series of Poker.
Oh, won't be? I
Yeah,
was going
they'll
to
be
say it's already held there.
yeah, well, they'll be moving it to the new convention centers that are going to be located behind Harrah's and the Link on the east side of the strip. So that's interesting. And
Well,
whether or not
okay.
it'll actually
Well,
go through, but yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
I think well, this could have something to do with that El Dorado
It's
takeover
well,
buyout.
possibly, yes. The
Who
rumor
knows, I
has it is,
suppose.
yeah, the rumor has it actually in Vegas is that they are considering, or it's highly probable at least, that they'll be bringing in a Major League Baseball team, and the property where the Rio sits will be a likely candidate for that stadium. So maybe they're trying to rebrand Las Vegas as a sports town, which very well may be the case. But if that is the case and they move it, the parking is going to be a nightmare because they're going to start charging for parking. They already do at the
No, I don't
Flamingo.
even want to think about it. I don't think anyone wants to. Parking, it has been the subject of the whole last year. Don't want to think about it. I do want to continue on the robberies, though.
Right.
All of these people at the World Series of Poker, not that I'm the boss of the show. I shouldn't be just butting in like that. But I was just sitting there thinking of all these people walking around, $10,000 main event buy-in. And there's 8,000 of them just strolling on through the car park. Obviously.
Do the math on that. 8,000 times 10,000.
Right.
How
I mean,
much
lots
is
of
it?
people, of course, would, wire it or, do whatever. But the point is, obviously, it's a robber's paradise.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Especially when you have people like the story that I read this last week, was about a zombie obsessed, kid you not, kill you not, a zombie obsessed murder suspect who was accused of decapitating a man over casino winnings. And then he talked about eating this poor man's brain.
Wow. Just so everybody gets a good understanding, I want to put this into perspective. Um, about how much money is floating around the World Series of Poker. If
You
just in the main,
calculated?
just in the main event, 8,500 people times 10,000 in entry fees for the main event dictates over $85 million that they take in.
85 million
Yes.
floating
Now,
around. They
yes.
definitely need car park casino. This guy, this zombie man, killed this guy for $120
Well, maybe he
and
needed it.
decapitated him.
Oh,
Oh,
speaking of
guy, he
which,
was at the wrong casino.
oh, obviously, yeah. So those are what's going on in World Series of Poker news. Any other notable things? I know, like I said, Negreanu was knocked out early. Ivy was knocked out early. There was a
I suppose we can only wait until we're at a final table and there's a
yeah,
winner and
yeah.
discuss the results. I don't think there's, I get disappointed when friends and whatnot get knocked out, but there's not much you can do.
Well, now here's an interesting thing I wanted to bring up with players. There, how much when these players are carrying around this much money, what percentage does the casino actually hold on to? In the like for the main event at the $85 million, how much money will they actually hold back for themselves and give to the back to the players?
Well, whatever their rake is obviously taken out and kept by them, and
Okay,
the rest is given
what's the
back to the
standard?
players.
What's the standard rate you think for a big event?
Well, it depends on the casino and the event. Look at the biggest event ever. The biggest live tournament ever was just the World Series of Poker, and they didn't have any rake.
Yes, everything went back. That was
So
the
it
50th.
all depends. But let me tell you, they make a lot of money.
Oh,
I looked this week at the finance report. of the top 5 vendors in the US casino gaming market from 2017 to 2021. So it is a bit of a forecast.
Okay.
It's got a key trend, a market driver, and of course the forecast. Do you want me to tell you who they are? Does anyone want to know who's earning all of the money? So
Yeah.
the top 5, who would you guess is number 1?
Caesars?
Boyd.
Oh, Boyd Gaming. That makes sense. They just acquired a bunch of properties in Las Vegas a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right. So after that, of course, is Caesars, then
Right.
Intralot. I don't even know who Intralot is.
Hmm.
Sands, the Las Vegas Sands,
Okay.
and then MGM.
Oh,
I don't
that makes
understand how they're not up there. You know,
well,
like way up the top.
MGM
Of
is losing a
course.
lot of money because they are doing in my opinion, they're doing a lot of things wrong. They're decreasing comps. They're charging for parking. They're just really squeezing the player at every turn to get as much money as they can out of them without actually any value. So that's what I believe is going
And so
on.
then that's making the player do the opposite.
Well, yeah, it's making them run away. If you got two places that you're going to, and one gives you comps if you lose, and the other one gives you nothing, which one are you going to go to?
Well, obviously the one that gives me something. And in fact, I don't even know if I've ever stayed at an MGM property, have I? I
I
think they're
don't
too
know.
expensive. No one
Well,
wants to stay there.
the Vidara is an MGM property. I know that.
Oh, well, I've stayed at an MGM property, and the Vidara is expensive. So
Oh
there you
yes,
go.
yes.
Very expensive. That just
And
goes to show.
another thing. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but the actual five most influential players in the history of poker were
Oh
actually
yes,
put out.
yes. The poker
And
results.
yes, and you know who they are, and I will go through
Let
them
me
one
tell
by one.
you, not only do I know who they are, I have as proof print screens of who I chose because
How close were you?
I got them all right.
Really?
Yes.
Well, tell us, who were they?
Well, I don't know. I have to look at my print screens.
Oh, I see. Well, one of them that
No,
we
I
all.
mean like every category.
Oh, well, one person that we actually really know, that was very influential, even though his poker results are somewhat varied, is Mr. Chris Moneymaker.
Right, yes, the moneymaker effect. I
Yeah.
said that has to be one of the most influential things in the World Series of Poker. So this isn't in poker. This is the World Series of Poker. So 100%, he had to be in there. He has had a
Yeah.
huge impact on it,
Yeah.
obviously. The
Well, yeah.
moneymaker
I mean,
effect.
he basically
Boom.
catapulted online poker and made it popular. For anybody could do
That
it,
would
right?
be like if you said in Australia who has had the biggest effect on poker in Australia, you would see Joe Hashem. It's like the
Right.
Hashem effect. Boom, Australians all want to win millions of dollars and become a World Series of Poker champ now.
Right.
Who else?
And
Who else?
Mr. Doyle Brunson was one.
Right. With the super system, which I've never read.
No, it's I've never read. I looked at it, but it just seems to be kind of outdated. Um,
But he
I
certainly
agree with him because he's been around forever. I mean, he was one of the original Godfathers.
he's
Uh,
been to every World Series of Poker, every 50 of them.
yeah, all 50 of 'em. And another one that we all know and agree on is Daniel Negreanu.
Oh yes, absolutely. He had to be in there. He has got such a fan base that he has dragged people into the world of poker and dragged people to watching World Series of Poker, Poker Go, all of it. You know, that's absolutely
And what
fan
I like
base
about
massive.
yes,
That's
what I like
in
also
poker.
about Daniel Negreanu is that when the stuff went down with Full Tilt and Chris Ferguson and
Yeah, but
Howard
let's
Lederer.
remember this is about influential for the World Series of
Yeah,
Poker. But
but
continue.
what I liked about him is he was one of the few players that publicly said, "Hey, what they did was not right, and they should be, for lack of a better term, kicked out of poker altogether."
Right.
So,
Well, I think they're mending bridges now. With that
oh,
said, there's people that'll never forgive them.
okay, I
Probably
agree.
I'm one of them. But let's
Yeah,
continue.
another one, and this is the last one that I have on my list. There's one more. I'm not sure who it is, but the last one that I had written down was Phil Hellmuth, and Phil is
There was
definitely.
only 4, wasn't
Oh,
there?
there was only four. Okay. I thought
I
there
don't
was
know.
5.
Maybe there was 5.
Well, I
I
have 4
forget.
written
I have
down.
to refer to my list. So I don't know. All of the results are here. They were in my inbox too, and stupid me didn't write this down.
Right, but Phil
Um,
Hellmuth, I think we can all agree that Phil is a excellent player, even though he can be a bit of a whiny baby sometimes.
yes.
Uh,
So you've got the poker kid, the poker brat, the
Brad
Texas
God,
Dolly.
yeah, the Godfather of Poker Doyle, and then
Right.
you got Chris Moneymaker.
So the Godfather of poker should pull these poker brats and kids into line.
Well, I do know that there was actually
Oh,
a
cool.
there was actually an episode where or a tournament or a cash game or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but where Phil Hellmuth came out dressed as like a gladiator of some sort.
Yeah, another time he was laying on the floor in the fetal position, crying and kicking like a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
Naughty boy.
and then
This year he had a tantrum after getting kicked out. Kicked out.
he yelled
Boss
at a guy
mom-
for playing King Nine, but I'm like, Phil, you played like 3-5 of hearts. What do you expect?
Hmm. Well, anyone can play how they want to play. I hate it
Yes,
when people do that.
it's
No offense, Phil, but I
intention.
really do.
Now, we wanted to, we touched on a subject last week that you wanted to talk about this week because something happened recently about staking players.
Well,
Now,
yes, people are ripping them off now.
yes.
Now
So
that
you've
I
changed. You've analyzed things a little bit more
yes.
deeply, and you want to expand your original thoughts on it.
Absolutely, I do. So last week, there were some complaints, and the question came up is, do I think that staking should have a markup? And the answer was absolutely yes, there should be a markup. Um, and I stand by that. I stand by that 100%. But what I'm going to say is, if you are out there and you are getting staked into the World Series of Poker main event, and you're basically conning people who don't know any better into doing so, and that staking means not only, okay, this is the big thing, not only have they been staked, but they're 10 grand in front before they even sit down. So they have had their entry paid and have profited $10,000.
Yes.
That is not cool. That kind of markup is not cool. Certainly, as I said, everyone, has a choice to stake, and everybody has a chance to look at their horses and see if their markup is worth it and
Right.
whatever else. No one, no one is worth paying to play. Just saying. So
Exactly.
if someone is selling, as an example, 50% of themselves, can you just get a calculator out just so I can make sure
Okay,
this
I
is
have it.
okay? So 50% of themselves, so that's half of what they will win will go to you at $200 per share. So each share is worth $200. Does 100 shares come to $20,000?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
So
so
basically, they're getting
$20,000 is
$20,000 just for ten. They're just getting $10,000 just to sit down at the table for no without.
right.
So it's free roll. It's what I call a free roll plus.
Exactly.
You do
And
that. You do that in 5 or 10 major tournaments. You're making 60 grand a year.
well, I saw one of the women, one of the main women from one of the apparent leading poker groups. It wasn't the Women's Poker Association. One of the leaders of them, and I don't, care to not pinpoint these types of things. Now they have novice players coming along, and they're saying, this is how the poker world works. They're teaching people how to play, and they're doing that kind of thing. Then they're saying, before you receive whatever I win, so let's say they won the main event. Okay, so they only get the investors only get 50%.
Right.
Then it's 50% after taxes have been paid. This is what I believe I read. 50% after taxes have been paid and after the buy-in is taken out. Get the hell out of here. Why? Who gets paid 10 grand to sit down and play poker? This
Not
is
me.
disgusting.
Not you.
Well, I wish I did. I wouldn't do that to people, though. That's
That is
sad.
actually pretty strange. I mean, I know, you know, this is why sometimes poker gets a
I was
bad
talking
name.
about, yes, it is. I was talking about the likes of certainly Phil Hellmuth or Alan Kessler. He cashes in nearly every event that he's in.
And
Certainly, they should
those guys
mark
have been,
themselves
those
up.
guys have a proven track record, and they've been around forever, and they do have an ego to win. But people who have just come on the scene in the last few years, I don't think have any business
Even
asking.
if they, well, even if they've played for 10 years,
Well,
they certainly shouldn't
are
be.
they they're preying on a certain group of people? Is that not
Exactly.
right?
That's right. Exactly. These people are clearly preying on newbies to poker. We want to keep them in poker, not have them realize that holy crap, what when I did the maths, that is, this is the second year that I've seen this kind of thing happen in that demographic. It just disgusts me. But anyway,
Yes. Well,
um,
that
I
that
ignored
that
it the first time. I didn't think it'd happen again, but it
but it
did.
did.
So
Yeah. So
whatever.
newbies beware. You know, just because someone,
Staking newbies, this is
yeah,
especially.
I would go through a more reputable site and not just people who are asking, to catering to a
Well,
specific
no,
site.
because they can do that through any site at all. Use Stake Kings. They can put whatever markup
Well,
and
I
they can
haven't
put
looked at
the
those
link and they
places.
can say stake me.
I haven't looked at a place in those things yet, but
They
would you
certainly
say,
use those reputable sites for
yeah,
your own
do
protection. But
these sites have like results that you can look at of certain players, or are they just kind of whatever, whatever it is, it's up to you to do your own research on them.
well, I would do both, to be honest. As I was saying last week's show, I would 100% not just look at what they've won, but I'd stalk the heck out of them. Hell, you need to make sure that you. No, I'm serious. I'd become the poker CIA and FBI. I mean, I'm not out there staking people, but that's what I would do.
And
However,
another thing you got to be
the
careful, especially with the younger generation. A lot of these players have something called leaks, and they could take that money and run, which I know happened to you.
yes, that
When you
happened
were
to me.
staked, you were staked, so you got to be careful. By leaks, we mean obsessions with either drugs or alcohol or prostitutes or some
Right.
combination of the
I
three.
can openly say that. Everyone knows I think I might have been if Selena Lynn was classed as an Australian pro, then I wasn't, but otherwise I was the first ever sponsored Australian female poker player.
Mhm.
And part of that sponsorship included my buy-ins, but because someone had stolen my identity, I couldn't travel to the World Series of Poker. So I gave, okay, this is just crazy. You're not going to believe what I gave away. My World Series of Poker cash entry, my flight money, my accommodation entry, everything
Oh
to,
my.
yeah, like a whole bunch of. And then I get a phone call. All their stuff is locked in their motel room. I kid you not. And they need money to pay for the motel room because they don't have any because they've spent it all on cocaine and roulette and stuff.
That is definitely a
No, but by all, I mean
sad
including
story.
the entry, the World Series of Poker
The main
entry.
of all 10,000 of it.
Yes.
Oh my.
See, you don't trust people. End of story.
Trust but verify, as Mr.
Use use
Reagan says.
use um use staking sites. Stake people the proper way. They, of course, in my defense, the staking sites were not available back in the day and age, and so on and so forth.
Oh, I just want to tell everybody, I've been looking at my phone, and for those who know, like the last several weeks, I won a major tournament in online, and
Yeah.
I had to get my documents sent so they could send me the money that I won, and I just received an email from the WSOP.com saying, "Dear Nicholas, this is Deslin B from the department at WSOP. I am writing you regarding your account username, whatever it is. We have
Mm-hmm.
received and verified your documents, and your account has been approved. All account restrictions have been lifted, and you are ready to play for real money gaming in Nevada. Many
Oh,
thanks for your cooperation."
fabulous.
So finally, I can go ahead and Play now. It's only a short 6 weeks after it took me to get that money. Well, you were when we went to Chicago, and we were at the bank quite a long time, weren't we? Getting that all straightened
Yes,
out.
we were. Gosh, that was a long time ago
It
now.
was a long time ago, but it's all straightened out, so it looks like I can play once again, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so recap is the World Series of Poker still going, obviously, and next week we will have a winner, which we will discuss.
Right.
I'm hoping that Daniel Hashem, who was definitely still in at this stage, even though we don't like to talk results, he's way up there. So
Is that the new kid?
no,
There's
if
also
he,
a, there's a,
if
there's,
he
there's also a new younger kid from Melbourne who is doing quite well, as I
well,
recall.
Daniel Hashem is obviously Australian.
Yes.
That last name, Hashem.
Has any relation to Joe Hashem?
Exactly. See, there you
Yes.
go. Hit nail on head. Any Aussie. I'm hoping any
Okay.
Aussie actually,
Wonderful.
or a female. No, not a female, because I want the first female to be me.
Well, Kathy Liebert actually is doing very well.
Well,
So,
there you go. She
but
she may surpass Vanessa Speltz one day when it comes to results for
well, I know Miss
tournaments.
Spelt is actually not in poker anymore, so that's
Exactly.
quite possible.
That leaves the door open for Kathy Liebert to fly on
Zoom
past her.
past her.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? Any other interesting things we want to say before we wrap up here this week? Let's see. Earthquakes, check. Fab Four in poker over the last check.
There
World
were
Series
many more. There were
check.
many more. There were many more categories. Just saying, the most likely to succeed. I chose Justin Bonomo, I believe, and I believe he won.
Right.
And I'm saying believe because I went through it all and I read it all, and I've had a lot go through my head since, such as crying children and houses burning down.
Yes. So hopefully that
Um,
won't be too bad.
oh, there was one thing that I love talking about: the growth of gaming, casino
Okay.
gaming, and Puerto Rico has their Puerto Rico a Senate bill has passed for
Okay.
87 million in revenue towards casino
Oh,
sports
beautiful.
betting. Well, sports betting laws.
Beautiful.
It's the latest US because it's a US territory. I don't know if many people know that. You think?
And well, yeah, but it's been around for ages. It's not a state, but it is actually a territory.
Territory, yeah.
Yes.
Kind
The
of like our Northern Territory and ACT here, not states, they
Right.
are territories.
There's a lot of construction finishing up. The whole Resorts World in Las Vegas is almost complete as far as the exterior, and once that's done, we will actually go work 24/7 to get the interior done by next year. So that should be exciting.
And there's a new casino that's going up in Greece too.
Oh, in Greece? I've never been to
Uh-huh.
Greece.
Mohegan has won the casino bid, and they were up against some great people. By great people, I mean big companies. So that's another casino.
Oh, and
Greece,
just so people, it
Ultras.
was brought to my attention yesterday. Just one last thing on the WSOP, they actually added another event yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a $50,000 buy-in. And that's where I saw Negreanu playing. Of course, he had a crowd of people around him. And also, I looked over, and who happened to be there? But the winner of the event, the 2017 Super High Roller.
Kids and wife are being really noisy.
No, they're not my kids and wife. I am actually in the exterior of downtown Henderson near a Starbucks. So that's where I'm at. Yes, I like saying there's nice cool breeze across it. So, but in any event, the winner of the Super High Roller Bowl, the German, in 2017,
Is that
was there as well.
Theodore Holtz?
Yes, I couldn't pronounce his name, but that sounds right. So yeah, a lot of good players.
Unless I've got the wrong year.
2017.
I don't know. The wrong year, wrong person for the year. I know the year that I was there was a whole bunch of Germans all at a table.
Yeah, they were. So, but that was a lot of interesting things going on there. So, and also their satellites. They are cutting down the time from 30 minutes to 20-minute levels. So,
Yeah,
That's another.
Didn't
That's
know.
another. Yeah, so they're making some
We
adjustments
are
on the
going
fly.
to have to wrap it up
Yeah.
because I have got a smoke alarm man coming very soon. And to tell you all the truth, I'm just feeling like back in my old online poker days. Back in the days where I was able to just like wake up and stay in my pajamas and chill and do my thing, because that's what I'm doing right now.
All right.
But I don't think naked me under my dressing gown is going to be a great thing when he turns up. Plus, there's mess everywhere. So, I better get moving.
All right. Well, until next week, Miss Hot Aussie Chick.
Uh-huh. Until next week. Please be careful. There's earthquakes there.
Aces and faces, everybody.
Bye.
All right, that's good.